Alright, good morning, Wasteland. Mr. G back with more rankings of parts and Crossout. And today we're doing hardware, all the modules, engines, generators, ammo, all those derpy side things you got to add to your build to make it just right. Disclaimer, before we get into this, we graded everything on the same scale. So parts that might be really S tier or A tier for new players, we had to rank them against epic parts and even legendary parts. So something like the hardcore, for example, or Dunhorse, which is going to be great for new players, might get a lower rating than you think it should be getting. That's okay. We're ranking this across all power scores and throughout the whole game, just on a level playing field. It was the easiest way to do it. This was by far the trickiest one to rank. I spent a lot of time in this. I had a lot of different people I direct messaged that had been playing the game forever. It was like, what do you think? We spent time aggregating and averaging this data. Then I brought it back to the Discord, pinged everybody. We went over it again. We talked it out. We worked it out. We're doing our best to give you the most objective. Now, yes, there's opinion in here because there's no way to do this without opinion. Tier list for the modules in Crossout. So let's waste no more of your time and let's get to it. Starting with the F category, we've only got a couple in the F. First one, B1 Aviator. It's okay. I mean, if you're a new player, though, you probably shouldn't be wasting energy on boosters. There's other things you could be doing with your 1 point of energy than running this really wimpy, underpowered booster. Next up, the Razorback, one of the least used engines for a reason. It's kind of considered like a heavy engine. It gives you a lot of power, not a lot of speed. Okay tonnage, but it's got no perks. There's going to be better engines that are going to do this job, and this one costs an energy. And early on in the game, you're going to need that energy for other stuff as a new player, rather than spending it on an engine that gives you no perks. On to D category. The first thing you should do as a new player is take this off your build and use that extra point of energy for a Radiator or weapons, because if you're flipping, you just need to learn to drive. Carjack should only be used on ridiculous art builds that are always going to tip over, and half the time it doesn't even do the job correctly that you need it to do. You'll be flipped and it'll go bloop, and you won't even flip you all the way over. Piece of garbage, don't use it. Okay, disclaimer that this is in the D category. If you can't afford any other radar, use this radar. The only reason it's D is because there's radars that do a better job than this one. But if this is all you can afford, absolutely use it, because knowing where the enemy is and sharing that information with your team is hugely important and going to benefit your win rate over time. Same disclaimer for this. This is your first Radiator you can get. It's white, costs 1 energy. Radiators are going to tend to rank higher than coolers, as you're going to see as we go through the rankings. If this is the only Radiator you can afford, it's S tier for you. If you're a new player, this is like S tier. The reason it's coming in at D is because I'm ranking it against better Radiators in the game. So please know that going in, this is great for new players. It's just, look, it's D, but new players aren't going to be able to afford some of the stuff at A tier they'll be able to use. None of the stuff at S tier a new player is going to have access to. But if you're a new player, this is great. However, ranked against all the other modules, it's coming in at D. Same disclaimer. If you're a new player, this is one of the only Radiators you can afford to give you, sorry, not Radiators, generators to give you 2 energy. Go ahead and use it. It's a D+. It's in the D category simply because it just pops. It's 30 points of durability. You sneeze at this thing, it's going to explode and kill you. Absolutely going to wreck your day. On to C-rated parts. Now, the hardcore is great for new players in that it costs no energy. So the fact that it made it to C rating against all the other parts speaks to how good it is, especially for new players. It's going to give you a lot more speed, mass limit. You're gimping yourself if you're not using a 0 energy engine, because it's going to make your build all around better, and it only adds 157 power score. So this is definitely coming in with a C+ rating because it's really good for new players. I'd like to just echo what I said about the hardcore. However, the Dunhorse, not as good in that it's going to cost you 1 energy. Although it's going to give you more speed, power, mass limit, and tonnage. It's going to give you more than the hardcore, but it's going to be costing you an energy. And as a new player, you're probably better off using that energy for weapons or cooling. Next up, C category. Tormentor is getting dinged in the C because all it does is boost melee. It's just really niche. And even then, it only does it for 5 seconds. This part needs a buff, in my opinion. You can run melee builds without it. Yeah, it'll improve it. Maybe if it worked passively and improved melee weapons all the time, it would be worth the 2 energy that it takes. But otherwise, it's just not that great of a part. Now, for some reason, the Gameless Barrier as a weapon, it's not. It's a shield that you can drop to shield yourself or your friends. However, it costs 3 points of energy. It's not super effective as a shield. I think this thing should get a buff. I think we need more support-style weapons where you can help your team out. So that's why the barrier is getting a C rating. The Golden Eagle, it is the only epic engine that is going to get a C rating. Because really the only time you're going to use this is if you're using a tracked vehicle, because it increases max speed for augers and tracks. Other than that, it costs 1 energy and its perk not that great. You'll almost always be better off using a different engine than this one, unless you're really using just a tracked vehicle or meat grinder vehicle and you really need that extra 10 kilometers an hour, which honestly isn't enough. They should change it to 15, really make it more viable. And our last C-rated part, I would have considered this A back in the day. I mean, I used gas gen on so many builds before I got an Apollo. It's coming in at a C+. The reason it's ranked so low is because it just pops, and once it does, I mean, 36 points of energy, it's going to kill you. It's going to blow you up. You're dead. No matter how much you try and armor it, keep it away from your ammo and fuel, this thing's going to ruin your day as soon as it goes, and it will go. Some builds, you need this. You need the lighter gen for 3 energy, because it provides 3 energy, which is huge. So it's a good gen, but you got to be really aware that this thing's going to kill you as soon as it blows. On to B rated. This thing gets a B rating because it's the only thing that lets you hook to your buddy and do a silly fusion. Other than that, not much to say about it. The Horizon gets a B rating. It's a great scope for new players. Not as good as the Neutrino, but it does what it's supposed to do at the cost of 1 energy. I almost wish they would give us a white scope that costs no energy and just gave you just a little bit of zoom. Not 6.5, maybe even just 2 times zoom for no energy would be nice. Targem, are you listening? Guys, the Blast-Off booster is a good booster. It's going to give you solid speed. You're going to be able to make those rammy builds and melee builds have fun using this. Also good for racing. Not much to say. Solid B. The blue ammo pack is a must-have for starting cannon builds or any build that's going to require ammo. If you're going into combat without some ammo, you're going to have a bad day. It's also small, relatively easy to fit inside your vehicle and armor. No complaints about the ammo pack. Alright guys, here we're talking about the Chill. It's a cooler versus a Radiator, so it... Oh wait, I'm sorry, this is a Radiator, my bad. This is a good Radiator. Sorry, I don't know why I was thinking this thing was a cooler. No, it's a Radiator. It's going to let your builds go 50% more before they overheat. Really solid part for new players using heat-based weapons. Get one of these as soon as you can. Heck, we should give this thing a B+. Cooler, not quite as... In my opinion, I usually prefer Rads over coolers. But it's going to increase your cooling by 50%. Drop that heat down a little bit quicker. So a solid B. Nice, easy to armor part. Easy to fit in your builds. Really easily to stack. Good part for heat-based weapons. No complaints there. The first Chameleon you can get, the special one, it's great. You can use it. It's lighter and easier to build around than its epic counterparts. So it gets a solid B. Costs you 1 energy. Is there a better cloak out there? There sure is. We'll get to that one in a minute. This one we're giving a B+ rating. If you're going to use energy weapons like a plasma emitter, this is pretty much a must-have for that build to be effective. It's going to reduce recharging time by 26%, increase projectile speed by 30, and optimal range by 20. You are gimping your build if it's using plasma emitters and you don't have the power unit, but that's all it does. It's not going to work with any other build. So overall, buyer's guide rating, giving this one a B+. You're not going to use it for any of your other builds. Alright, the Argus shoots down just some of the missiles that are coming at you, those guided missiles. It's going to detect some mines, but that's pretty much it. It's okay. There are better secondary defense modules and support modules you can put on your rig than the Argus. That's all I have to say about that one. The Oppressor. It is one of our few epic engines you're going to see in the B category instead of A or S. Vehicle movement speed increases weapon and rocket reload speed. You got to be moving all the time to get the perk for this thing. It's a cool looking engine, but it's huge. Super hard to fit in. Look at the weld points on this thing. It is a royal pain to build around it. For like shotgun wedges that are going fast or builds that need to go really quick and shoot and scoot, it can work. But there are better engines out there. Let's jump to A tier parts. The fuel barrel is a white part, but it's coming in at A tier because you should be running this to get as much fuel as you can. And the fact that it stacks with the fuel tank to increase the amount of fuel you can get. Doesn't stack with itself. Don't put multiple fuel barrels on. That won't help you. But you can run this alongside the fuel tank so that you're earning more fuel. If you're trying to make money in Crossout and you're a free-to-play player, you need this. There's really no way around it. I put radio as well as A tier because I feel like new players need to make sure that they are transmitting information to their allies. This does that at a range of 450 meters. Yes, the other radar detectors and radars have a built-in transmission radius, so you may not need that if you're running some of the better gear. But new players should definitely be putting a radio on their build, so I really wanted to make sure that I rank this one at A tier, even though, yeah, there's better parts. Here's that fuel tank I was talking about that you can pair with the fuel barrel. This is allow you to get 10 liters of fuel. You should be running one of these if you're playing the game and you want to make money. That was my first Crossout video, was how to make money in Crossout that blew up. Was, hey, put fuel barrels on your build. Do that. I think it still gets used. Yeah, it's good. A tier part. Rift coming in at A tier. It's really useful for Lancer builds so that once you've blown your Lances, you can blow off your generator so that your generator doesn't end up killing you. Super handy for that, and just fun artistic builds, or I don't know, you can do a lot of fun things. They made this thing just for Gromec, I'm sure. It's epic, it's awesome. There it is, the Rift. My favorite part in the whole game, Big G, pretty sure they named this one after me. It's the first generator you're going to get in the game. We're going to give it an A ranking because look, it's going to give you 1 energy, and it's got a decent amount of durability coming in at 100. That's more than the gas gen or the Ampere. You're going to be in good shape running this thing. So there it is, the Big G. Thank you, Tarjum. Really appreciate that. Good generator. Here we go with the blue radar, enemy detection radius at 450 meters. We're giving this thing A because you're just going to be able to detect people from further away, and knowing where the baddies are is the first step in being good at Crossout. Now here we go with the heavy generator coming in at A tier. Even though it only provides 2 points of energy, it is huge. You're going to have 4 weld points by 2. It's a beast. Yeah, it's huge. But if you can fit it, you're going to want this over the Ampere because it's not going to blow up as easily. It's got 164 points of durability, and it's going to provide you 2 energy. Okay, an extremely good part to get as early as you can, the Maxwell radar detector. Okay, it's going to do a number of things. Enemy detection radius at 300 meters. Detects enemies in cover at 250 meters. And then it has the same ability as the radio. It's going to transmit that information to your allies at 300 meters. And it can detect mines up to 16 meters. So a really big upgrade over the radar, but it's going to cost you 1 energy point. You'll find if you have an extra spare energy point, it's going to be worth it. Stick this on. Here we go with the Oculus, making an A tier. It's going to detect invisible guys at 150 meters and beep at you. Enemies at 150. It's going to transfer data at 150 meters and detect mines further out at 24 meters. And it's going to beep and let you know when that cloaked guy is about to lance you in the back, which is handy. Although I'm not going to lie, I prefer the Verifier, which we're going to get to in a minute. Not much to say about the Neutrino. It's the best scope you can get in the game, earning it an A rating. It's going to have zoom at 4 and 8 times versus the 6.5 that you're going to get with the other one. Also, it gives you a radar ability. Increase enemy detection radius to 400 meters. So you get sensors and you get scope. So it can take the place of a radar if you need it to. The Hermes Booster, not much to say about it. It's the biggest, baddest booster in the game. You're going to get the most speed out of this. If you're doing a Tusk build or a Melee Ridiculous build or the Cockpit or Race build, Hermes is your go-to booster. Here we go with the Verifier, a really good secondary module. In passive mode, it detects invisible enemies and marks them on your map. So cloaked guys are going to show up on your map. Super handy. When you activate it, it fires a little drone and then it detects and uncloaks anybody. After 3 seconds, all enemies within 200 meters you can see takes them out of cloak, which is huge. Not only does it do that, it can detect invisible enemies to 200 meters, all enemies to 200 meters, transfers data to your partners and your team at 200 meters, and detects mines up to 30 meters. It is going to cost you 1 point of energy, but really solid if you're worried about cloaked guys and you want to help out your team. I really like the Verifier. The Shiver is the best cooler in the game. If you're running shotgun builds and you need to cool them down so you can just keep shooting, boom, 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 the Shiver is your go-to. Efficiency increases at low speed, so you slow down, this thing's going to work a little bit better. So while you're wedging that guy in your shotgun wedge, you're going pretty slow, this thing's working overtime to keep your build cool. If you guys haven't already looked up Mr. G Infinite Shield builds, please look those up. I had so much fun with the Aegis running 3 of these fused for water cooling for faster reload. I could literally have shields up all the time. They nerfed it because of me. Thanks, sorry, Tarjum. They made it so when you stack these, the effect is reduced. I did that. I broke that. That was me. But a lot of fun still. You can run a shield. It covers you 360 degrees. It does cost 3 energy, though. And it's pretty hard to armor around it. It's kind of a goofy... But yeah, I can't build anything on the top. But a solid piece. Don't recommend running 3, but if you want to try 1, you got to get that timing down for sure. On to S tier modules, the best of the best. The most used, the best module in Crossout, the Chameleon Mark II. This thing lets you go invisible for 10 whole seconds. It's a bit big to build around and doesn't have a whole lot of hit points. Costs you 1 energy, but just about everybody you know is running one of these on their build unless they have no energy left to use it. It's awesome. It's great. Only downside is it's kind of big, hard to hide. The Hot Red engine. I recommend this as the first purple engine you get. It's extremely versatile. Doesn't require any energy. And it's going to boost reload speed for weapons, rockets, modules, turrets, and drones by 10%. You're going to get a 10% reload bonus. It doesn't even cost you any energy. Also, you're getting speed and power. Decent engine. Highly recommend this be the first epic engine you buy. If you're going to run rockets or cannons or anything with reload, get yourself the Colossus. It's going to do that what the Hot Red did, but even better at 20%. It's going to cost you 1 point of energy, but it's the heaviest, biggest engine in the game, giving you a 2,500 mass limit, 7% max speed, and a power bonus of 50%. This is your heavy-duty truck engine that helps you shoot faster. It's awesome. Also, really good on some hover builds, too. That extra power, hugely important on hover these days. The Cheetah, a lot of people wanted to give it A tier. I'm giving it S- tier. Every 100 meters you drive reduces module, drone, and turret cooldowns by 15%. So your cloak will reset faster. Any of your other abilities are going to reset faster. It's going to cost you 1 point of energy, though, but solid stats on this engine. Really good tonnage, mass limit, and speed bonuses. Cool, cool engine. A little hard to build around. Not much else to say about the Cheetah. Okay, coming in at S tier simply because it's the best radar in the game. You can detect enemies at 600 meters. No radar will detect enemies that far out. Downside is it's absolutely huge. Hard to stick on your rig without getting in the way of something else. Here we go, S tier, the Doppler. It is the best radar detector in the game. You can detect enemies at 450 meters. Enemies that are in cover at 400 meters. And you can transmit that information to your buddies at a radius of 450 meters. No need to run a radio. And mine detection up to 20 meters. So you're going to know where stuff is, and you're going to send that information to your teammates. Having people on your team running these is really, really helpful. Even if you get no kills, you're helping your team simply by running one of these. Guys, this is one of the best modules you can get in the game. Look at this effect of this Radiator. 70% boost to your heat threshold is huge. This is one of the only parts I recommend you fuse, because the fusion on it, it's awesome. You get another, 40%? Something, stupid amount more if you fuse it. And it's really easy to build around and hide. It's an extremely good part for anyone running heat-based weapons. Get this part, absolutely amazing. Expanded ammo pack. It's the best ammo pack you can get. You're running something that needs ammo, use this. It boosts it by 110% and durability 264%. It's not going to blow up if you sneeze at it. Last but not least, that part so many of us grind for so long in the game. I remember when I got this on my non-promo account, I had to grind for a long time, but it really opens up top tier builds. It is the only generator that provides 4 energy. I'm really hoping Tarjum makes a smaller one that's relic that provides 4 energy at some point. Be nice to just not have to put this huge thing on everything. Durability at 363, so it's okay durability. It's not usually going to kill you when it blows up. A really cool generator. You really need this for your endgame builds, guys, and that's pretty much all there is to say about it. I think I've ranked pretty much everything in the game at this point, so I don't know what else there is to rank. So if you've watched all of these, thanks for sticking around. Here's the chart. There it is. There's the spreadsheet. Check it out. And as always, come by the channel. I got a whole guide playlist on the channel. Dig through, look around. If you're a new player, lots of stuff in there. I hope this was helpful. If it was, hit that like button. And if you want more, hit that subscribe button. And I'm going to catch you later. Be good, stay safe. Mr. G out.